Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, let's start off with Anna and Brennan for a minute because Brennan calls Anna in to give her a heads up. And at some point, John comes in. Now, John came in with the quickness, and he was sitting there saying, "Oh well, listen. Anytime that he gets a visitor, I get an alert or whatever." He was just like, "So what are y'all two talking about?" I just want to know what y'all two are talking about. So he says a little speech or whatever, then he has out, and Brendan, for some odd reason, and this is where it's boggling, right? Because he pretty much tells her, "Oh, by the way, John thinks you're associated with Pikeman. Um, why are you giving her a heads up for? Like, why?" Now, at some point Anna delayed the transport truck or whatever, to have more of a talk with him. But I just don't understand, like, why would you give her a heads up for? Um, she asks her usual questions or whatever. He denies. But then towards the end, she asks, was you going to kill me if I didn't arrest you? And he was like, well, I don't really deal with hypotheticals. He pretty much gave an answer without actually giving it. And the look on her face was like hurt. When she walked away, you can see almost looked like there was tears coming down her face, and I just don't understand why. Like, why was she so hurt by that answer? She never talked about him in a very fond way, or even at one point they had like a really good relationship. So I just don't understand why she looked like she was so hurt by that answer, and why he decided to sit there and give her a heads up for it. Didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Um, Now Spinelli is having a hard time trying to hack into the FBI database to try to find out what kind of information that they got on Jason. So long story short, they need John's credentials. So they've been tracking John, and they see him at the pool. So Sam goes and she acts like like she trips on something or whatever. So this way John can sit there and catch her, and she can fake like, oh, I hurt my ankle, whatever, right? And she came up with this little kind of disguise a little bit, and I was just like, okay. Um, but then it gets weird, right? Because she acts like she's hurt or whatever, and she starts to understand who she is, and talks about her divorce and everything. And my whole thing is like, John, you should know who she is, right? Like I don't understand how you okay. Sam knows that the FBI got something on Jason, right? So you would think that the FBI would do their homework and would know about all the different associates that Jason has contact with, especially in Port Charles. The dude is operating in Port Charles. You would think that he would know that they would know who his associates is. But and that's for Sam as well. I just don't understand how you're walking up to John like this is the first time, like he's not gonna know who you are. And they start talking, and she talks about her kids and everything like that, or she talks about her divorce with some mystery man she doesn't say. And eventually, Spinelli's able to sit there and get the info and stuff, the info and everything before they part ways. But again, the whole scene just made no sense when you really think about it like that. I get it; it's a soap opera, but there's certain holes where it's just like, seriously? And that's one of those giant effing holes. Now, Chase and Brooklyn, get prepared to confront Finn. and gets a call from Liz. God only knows why. Um, and they go in and they talk about, oh, Violet will be really cool. We'll have a lot of fun. Since we're going to be moving into the queues for a little bit, maybe Violet can come along and hang out with the other kids and everything like that. And Finn's like, all right, come on, I know what you're doing. The answer is going to be no. So eventually, Brooklyn leaves. Chase comes in. Chase gives him that tough love, right? He realizes that it's not working, you know, because Finn is just getting defensive. And Chase is like, all right, fine, listen, if you want to sit there and wreck your own life, cool, you're a grown adult, do you? But I have a problem when you plan on taking Violet's life down with you. That's where we're gonna have a problem. And at that point, they're just kind of at a standstill. So eventually, he winds up leaving, and at that point, it's like, okay, now we're gonna have to sit there and pursue this in a different way, and that means the legal way. So Liz is with the boys, well, with two of them anyway. They're asking about Finn, and Liz is like, yeah, they broke. It's like, yeah, we broke up. I love when you sit there and say we broke up, and it's really you that broke up with him. Don't try to make it seem like it was a mutual decision. This was your decision. You practically abandoned ship. Um, and one of the things she's there saying is, well, because Aiden was like, that really sucks. I mean, Gregory's death and everything like that. Like, you just practically abandoned ship, and the dude just literally lost his dad. So that's really nice of you. Um, and she said something along the lines of, well, he's not handling it well. Yeah, he just lost his dad. I get that you have well, let's be honest, shit relationship with your parents, but he actually did love his dad. I mean, yeah, they had an argument with him, but he actually loved his dad. So when she says that, it's like, well, yeah, he's not handling it well. His dad just died. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you get carte blanche to do anything, but it's like, of course he's not going to handle it well. Like, why would you even sit there and say that for? Um, Jake is being super defensive when it comes towards Finn. Um, and then at some point, Aiden's like, oh, well, that bar is not really around a movie theater or whatever. So, like, how would you even, know that? And Liz is like, yeah, that's very true. Jake tries to come up with some sort of line. Liz is like, all right, come on. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. But she does thank Jake for telling her the truth and calling Jason to help. And of course, Jake tries to play it, tries to downplay it. Like, oh, well, I didn't do it for him and this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, okay, so again, you only called him when you needed something. That's nice. That's good right there. And something about that attitude that just really pissed me off too. Like, you practically berated him when he came back. You assume that he actually shot Dante. You still have this shitty attitude when it comes towards Jason, but you had no problem calling him when you needed something. Yeah. Okay. Um. Let's see. There's a point where Brooklyn talks to Lois, and part of me is like, okay, I guess this scene is really necessary. I guess the scene is. Okay, I'm not gonna say really necessary. I guess the scene is somewhat necessary because, like, just to hear it from her perspective. Because even though she's not directly involved, she's still involved because she's married to Chase, and her feelings, how she feels about the whole thing. Her just sitting there venting, and Lois bringing up their issues and stuff like that with growing up with people who were alcoholics and stuff. And part of me was just like, I don't know if the scene was. I guess I just didn't really care for it that much. Thought they would have probably took more time just talking about Finn and Chase as opposed to hearing about her feelings. Um, I don't know. I just kind of didn't really care for it, to be honest. Um, Now Spinelli did want to, he did want to getting access to their files or whatever, but he's like, it's going to take a while to get what exactly they got on Jason. Now the thing is, I imagine, and I'm not an expert, but I imagine that at some point, while he's actually getting access to what John has, they're probably able to sit there and ping where that's coming from and realize that John didn't try to get John, that it wasn't John that actually logged in. And they're gonna realize that it was Spinelli. So yeah, he's gonna probably get in some trouble at that point. Um, and I'm pretty sure Jason's gonna have to do something once again to get Spinelli out of trouble that he got himself into. I don't know why I'm thinking about Night Shift where Jace where Spinelli I think he shot himself in the foot or something like that. And Jason had to want to doing community service because I don't know, that just made sense for some odd reason for them to put Jason there. I'm also thinking about that really bad green screen at the end where Sonny was there and you had the limo. Anyway, I'm getting off tangent. Um, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. But if I miss anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh, okay. I want to point out something about Liz, and this is a comment that I keep getting in some form of way, right? About Liz, in my opinion, and how she just practically abandoned. In a lot of ways, she kind of abandoned Finn, and people were sitting there saying, "Well, she doesn't want to sit there and deal with this after what she had to put up with Lucky, right?" And part of me is just like, see, this is where I have a problem with that, right? Because I'm just like, personally, I don't think that she should have just gave up on her relationship that fast. And I understand that she had to sit there and deal with that stuff with Lucky, but he's not Lucky, right? Like, don't take your old baggage with your old relationship into your new one. You know, I see a lot of people saying that Liz did a good job by getting rid of him because she didn't want to sit there and put up with it after what she put up with Lucky. I'm like, but he's not Lucky though. Take that old baggage and leave it with Lucky. And if you have issues still dealing with that, then maybe you need therapy before you decide to jump into a new relationship. If you still have that stuff hanging over you, or whatever trauma that you have going on, I don't think that's fair to whatever new partner that you're going to wind up having in your life. Anyway, I know it had nothing to do with the episode today, but it was just like a reoccurring theme that I kept sitting there seeing in my comment section. How I even saw it one time in my live stream, and it was just like, really, really. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I better yet, come to a live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, and Young and Restless, and I will see you in the next video.